Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're exploring a truly groundbreaking concept, the Maestro. If you've ever found yourself wondering how nations can really tackle the huge challenges of our time, economic shifts, social well-being, and maybe move beyond just reacting to problems, well, this deep dive is definitely for you. We're looking at a proposed new sustainable welfare system. It's designed, apparently, for the fine management of nations. And the big aim, eliminating that lag time, that delay between spotting challenges, big or small, anywhere in society, and actually, solving them smoothly. Plus, there's this whole new vision for demand and supply baked in. Our source material today is pretty rich, quite detailed. You get the annex ivmaestro.pdf that lays out the system's architecture, the guidelines. And then there's the research paper, S442650240003881.pdf, which gives this big retrospective look at 15 years of socioeconomic innovation, and Maestro's right in there.
Yeah, and what's really revolutionary here, I think, is how these sources aren't just talking about tweaking things. They're proposing a complete reimagining of how a society could function. So our mission today is really to distill the core ideas of Maestro, get under the hood of its philosophy, and see exactly how it plans to tackle some of these really persistent issues, especially what the sources are calling the sustainability gap.
Okay, Maestro.
Yeah.
The name itself makes you think of, like, a conductor leading an orchestra, right?
Yeah.
How do the sources actually describe its role? Particularly this idea of it being a digital twin of a nation.
Right. So at its heart, Maestro is described as a multimodal decision-making platform. And its job is implementing something called the Digital Sustainable Growth Model, DSGM, across the whole country. Think of it, exactly, as a complete living digital twin of the nation. Its purpose is basically to create this seamless, dynamic connection between government, companies, and, well, every single person, all working together supposedly for collective well-being, moving from, separate parts to an integrated whole.
Okay, integrated whole. So what does that actually mean for the idea of a welfare system as we, normally think about it? How does Maestro change that?
Well, the sources are pretty clear on this. They explicitly call Maestro the next generation welfare model. It's designed to bring about really comprehensive welfare improvements, but crucially, moving beyond the problems traditional systems face. Like, the research paper brings up the Nordic paradox.
Ah, yeah, I saw that. That's about the sustainability questions around even the big welfare states, right? Costs, demographics.
Exactly. Those comprehensive systems, like in Scandinavia, they're under scrutiny because of rising costs and populations getting older. Maestro claims to completely flip that. Instead of social services just being a cost, this idea they introduced, the citizen transaction, even suggests the social side could contribute to the national budget, turn it into a sustainable income stream, potentially.
Wow, okay. From cost center to income stream. That is a huge shift. And that leads us perfectly into this thing that the sources keep mentioning, the sustainability gap. What exactly is that gap, and how is Maestro supposed to close it, specifically by, getting rid of that lag time?
Right. So the sustainability gap, as they define it, is this big chasm between demand and supply, innovation and implementation. A gap that, and this is a direct quote, jeopardizes the core of sustainability efforts. And the root cause, according to their diagnosis, is an imbalance in power. An imbalance that's apparently evolved over time between demand, that's individuals, and supply, which is businesses. It's societal, not just economic.
So it's really about current systems just not being quick enough or coordinated enough to deal with what society actually needs.
Precisely. Yeah, the research paper explicitly points to a speed and coordination gap, where the world, especially, the digital world, is just changing faster than traditional systems can react. Maestro's goal, its ambition, is to create a smart nation led by this central system, functioning like a closed loop. Imagine like a national nervous system, constantly exchanging information, enabling swift responses. And they actually draw inspiration from the human body, its efficiency in sending rapid, accurate information. The whole design is meant to eliminate that lag time, spotting and tackling challenges fast, no matter how big or small or where they pop up. It's about orchestrating a synchronized response mechanism for the whole country's socioeconomic fabric, moving from reactive to, well, proactive.
Okay, this sounds genuinely radical. A whole new way of thinking about how economies and societies interact. Can you unpack the core of this new vision for demand and supply that Maestro brings? especially this central idea, the citizen transaction.
Yeah, the citizen transaction, that's presented as a really pivotal discovery, right at the heart of this digital sustainable growth model that Maestro implements. And the mechanism, the idea, is to fix those historical power imbalances we mentioned between citizens and businesses. It's trying to restore equilibrium between the demand from businesses and the supply of talent,
Hmm.
creating a more fluid, constant exchange.
Okay, equilibrium.
Yeah.
But what does that mean for, me, for an individual person?
Right.
How does that translate into something real, like that constant income idea you mentioned earlier?
Right. It really comes down to empowerment, empowering every single citizen to leverage the value of their data throughout their life cycle. So, from birth to death, imagine your personal data health stuff, buying habits, learning achievements, whatever. It isn't just collected by companies anymore. It becomes an asset that generates value back to you, maybe micropayments, data dividends, they call it sometimes. And at the same time, the tech helps people leverage their talents to actively chip into the innovation process in the job market. So it's a continuous cycle of contributing value. This forms a whole new revenue model
Hmm.
based on both, well, data mining, data monetization, and integrating people directly into innovation. And the explicit goal, yeah, is giving citizens a constant income throughout their lives. It's a pretty fundamental rethink of how value gets created and swapped in a digital economy, shifting away from just linear jobs to continuous value creation.
That's a really powerful idea, that empowerment. But, the flip side,
Hmm.
leveraging all your data from birth to death, that's bound to raise some serious questions for people about trust, about security. How do the sources handle that? Managing that much personal info, making sure people trust such a, all-encompassing system.
That's absolutely crucial. And the sources do touch on it. They emphasize that the design philosophy is about keeping balance between digitalization and well-being,
Yeah.
and actively minimizing what they call digital hazards. Now, the specifics on how are quite high level in what we have, but the implication is strong. It means building security, ethics, transparency right into the foundations, aiming for transparent execution. The argument seems to be that for citizens to truly leverage their data, they have to trust the system completely, trust its integrity, trust that it's working for them. It's positioned as a system built for the citizen, not just from their data, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so building on that birth to death life cycle idea, the Maestro guidelines actually detail different life stages. How does it provide that personalized support across someone's whole life? How does it really get rid of the lag in, say, personal development or getting help when you need it?
Right. The model timeline is very structured. It's broken down into 7 key stages, mapping onto physical and psychological developments. You have newborn, baby, child, teenager, youth, mature age, and elderly. And for each stage, it identifies specific needs and activities that Maestro is supposed to actively support.
Okay, can you give an example, like for the newborn stage?
Sure. For newborns, the focus is on ensuring a calm, safe environment for the parents. It talks about using invisible technologies for essential monitoring without being intrusive. And interestingly, it even aims to establish social connections for individuals right from the start based on things like personality and interests, a very proactive approach to social integration.
Wow, okay. And what about later? Teenagers, young adults.
Yeah, so as individuals grow into teenagers and youth, the system emphasizes things like a personalized curriculum and education on demand, really tailored to their specific profile, their characteristics. Schools in this vision become places for experiments. Universities transform into continuous R&D open labs, almost like startup platforms for ideas and talent coming through. The goal is maximizing potential and also, interestingly, tackling potential unemployment really early on by helping people progress quickly through personalized learning.
And then for older adults, mature and elderly stages.
Yeah, in mature and elderly age, the focus kind of shifts. It's about finding purpose, sharing your crystallized experience, your wisdom with others, and crucially, ensuring social connection and financial stability. It envisions caring technologies, think advanced IoT, maybe even physical things like robots for emotional support, all designed to provide a supportive environment, actively preventing social isolation and ensuring constant but subtle monitoring for well-being.
So it really sounds like this incredibly dynamic, adaptive system, continuously nurturing and supporting someone's growth, their contribution across their entire life. What would you say is the most transformative part of that lifelong integration for an individual's own agency or potential based on the sources?
I think the most transformative bit is that continuous proactive nature of development. Instead of just hitting these static milestones, like school, job, retirement, the system enables constant personal evolution. It adapts your education, your career path, your social connections, almost in real time based on you. It means people are always supported in becoming, well, their most productive and fulfilled selves. It aims to eliminate that historical lag, the delay between someone developing a need or a talent and society actually noticing and nurturing it. It's really about maximizing human potential, but in a deeply personalized way.
Okay, the whole thing is just incredibly ambitious, treating a whole nation like a complex biological system almost. What are the core design philosophies, the bigger ideas, that let Maestro supposedly function like this comprehensive national management system?
Well, the underlying philosophy seems to be about striking a very delicate balance. It's about using the huge power of digital tools to boost human potential and well-being, but at the same time, building in really strong safeguards against the downsides, digital overload, data misuse, all that. It aims to create a growth medium, as they put it, enabling people to grow and to use their cognitive abilities in a more extensive and productive way. And it also emphasizes personalization beyond just individuals. It talks about enhancing a city's unique charisma and fostering a single common dream based on shared values, building a kind of collective purpose.
And how does all this link up to the bigger picture, things like national development or digital sovereignty, especially now with so much digital interaction crossing borders?
That's a key part of the design, apparently. Maestro is explicitly designed to establish clear digital boundaries and upholds a country's sovereignty. So it's about creating a balance between policymakers and tech creators within that nation, keeping control. It integrates a national AI model they call Al-Forquan. And critically, this AI is meant to be uniquely tailored to each country's values and legal framework. So it's not some generic AI being plugged in. It's supposed to be like a national operating system or maybe a national brain designed to learn and promote growth, specifically aligned with that nation's culture, its DNA. And by putting social services on the same footing as the economy through those citizen transactions, it turns them into sustainable income streams, as we discussed. It also imagines continuous citizen engagement in policy, opinions counting 24/7. And it really hammers home the need for ethical, transparent execution to build that deep trust between people and their government.
Right, so we've taken a pretty deep dive then into the Maestro. It's this uh, comprehensive vision for a new sustainable welfare system, really aiming to redefine how you manage a nation, using data, personalization, this new idea of demand and supply. And it's all presented as a way to just eliminate that lag time in spotting problems, in solving them from individual well-being right up to national economic stability, creating a truly smart nation.
Yeah, the model definitely views that sustainability gap as a kind of ailment in the societal body.
Hmm.
And it applies what it calls a surgical approach, using digital innovation to fix it, by rebalancing power dynamics, empowering people through those citizen transactions, and weaving support through all life stages. Maestro offers this really holistic framework for sustainable growth. It could fundamentally change how societies operate if implemented as envisioned.
Thinking about this really bold vision, it does make you wonder, doesn't it? If a system like Maestro could actually eliminate that lag time in solving national problems and at the same time redefine how individuals contribute and thrive, what does that really imply for the future of governance itself? I mean, how might the role of the state, maybe even the whole concept of citizenship, evolve when a nation truly functions as a single, hyper-responsive digital twin? What stands out most to you about this whole picture?